Okay, this section is titled Mandatory Reporting. There are some things that you have to report if they are brought to your attention. You have to report them by law. So we're going to go over some of the things. It is mandatory to report such things as child abuse, assaults and threats against employees, assaults with a deadly weapon, reports from law enforcement to school officials. You have to mandatorily report the removal of minors from school by law enforcement officials. And it is also mandatory to report any type of child abuse. Child abuse is legally defined as any act committed or omitted that endangers or impairs a child's physical or emotional health and development. This act includes physical abuse and corporal punishment, emotional abuse, emotional deprivation, and sexual abuse and exploitation. Child abuse does not mean a mutual affray between minors or an injury caused by reasonable and necessary force used by a peace officer acting within the course and scope of his or her employment as a peace officer. Reporting child abuse. You must report immediately to a child abuse agency if you know, observe, or suspect child abuse. Reporting to your supervisor does not discharge your duty to report the abuse to a child abuse agency. The law requires that you must personally report the incident. Failure to report is usually against board policy and always against the law. Violation of the law is a crime. There is no liability if you file a report that proves to be incorrect. Who is a mandated reporter? You are a mandated reporter if you are a child care custodian or a health practitioner. Child care custodian means all faculty, administrators, members of the school district police, or you, security officers, and those classified employees who have been trained in the duties imposed by law. So you have to report this stuff. It's very important. You can be held criminally and civilly liable. Who is a mandated reporter? You are a mandated reporter if you are a child care custodian or health practitioner. Child care custodian means all faculty, administrators, members of a school district police or security department, and those classified employees who have been trained in the duties imposed by law. So, how do we report child abuse? Report abuse immediately to the local Child Protective Services, otherwise known as CPS. And you want to report it to the CPS unit in your area or contact local law enforcement. Dial 911 if the situation requires an immediate response. A school district police officer or security department is not a child protective agency. Complete a suspected child abuse report form within 36 hours. After you fill out the report, you want to mail the top 3 copies of the address given to you by the Child Protective Services unit in your area. Document in your own personal notes the detail of the abuse and the actions taken. Keep all records in a secure place. Contact the local Child Protective Agency for training on the recognition and investigation of child abuse. Real quick, this is just a child abuse report, just a sample. Go ahead and look it over and go ahead and click on the next slide. So it's mandated that you have to report the removal of a minor from the school by a peace officer. When a principal or other school official releases a minor or pupil to a peace officer for the purpose of removing the minor from the school premises, the school official shall take immediate steps to notify the parent or parents, guardian or guardians, or responsible relative of the minor regarding this release of the minor to the officer, and regarding the place to which the minor is reportedly taken. It falls under the Education Code. If we go back a little bit to our observation and documentation course, you will know that, that anytime anybody is taken by a law enforcement officer or even EMT, we log down the officer's name, the incident number, and the location that they're going to. Now, there are some exceptions to the parental notification. The exception is when a minor has been taken into custody as a victim of a suspected of child abuse. In these cases, the school official shall provide the peace officer with the address and telephone number of the minor parents or guardian, and the peace officer shall take immediate steps to notify the parent or guardian or responsible relative that the minor is in custody and the place where he or she is being held.